What do I think about Kenya? Barack Obama, Safari, Big Five, Mount Kenya, Nairobi, the best winners in the world, Kenyan men have multiple wives, overcrowded buses, the oldest man in the world has been created here. Dude, Hakuna Matata. What? Hakuna Matata. Relax. You forgot the most important thing. What's that? The Nairobi Football Derby, of course. We are back in East Africa, one of the interesting parts of the region. If you talk about football, this fixture is lesser known as the big fixture from Tanzania, Kariakoo Derby. Check my previous video, by the way. But somehow I was intrigued by this football rivalry and I found very interesting things. So let's jump into the Nairobi Football Derby. This rivalry between the Leopards versus Gor Mahia. Welcome to Rivalries Around the World. I'm your host Buddy. Well, if you think about Nairobi, probably a lot of travelers say as soon as they arrive, get the hell out of here and travel further inland. And for good reason. Nairobi is one of the dangerous cities in the world and Kenyans got a nickname for it, Nairobi. But if you look closely, it is actually a nice city. Just avoid the no-go areas. Nairobi hosts the biggest population of football clubs, but the inner-city derby between the Leopards and Gor Mahia is the oldest in the country and draw huge crowds. So let's see where are the clubs located. Nairobi is also known as the capital of Kenya and is located in the south of the country. We found both clubs south of the city center. Gor Mahia grounds is a bit closer to the city center in the east part of the city center. The Nairobi City Stadium has a capacity of 15,000 places. This is a multi-purpose stadium. Also other smaller and minor football clubs are tenants here. This ground is the first stadium using artificial turf for the football pitch funded by the FIFA. What might be a bit premature because according to several researchers and theses, artificial turf can cause cancer. Because the capacity of Gor Mahia using also the national stadium for some football matches, because it is bigger. The Nyayo National Stadium is the home ground of the Leopards. The stadium is more south of the city center and has a capacity of 30,000 and later rebuilt it for 50,000 people. Also rugby team Muamba RFC is using this stadium as well. Also non-football related events has been held here. For more capacity, both clubs sometimes move to the biggest stadium in the city, the Moi International Sports Center in the area of Kasarani, what is north of the edge of the city, with a capacity of 60,000 seats. Okay, don't get confused in which stadium the derby is, as I did. Be informed, the traffic is terrible in Nairobi if you suddenly find out you are at the wrong ground. Okay, let's go jump into the clubs. First, Leopards. AFC Leopards, don't get confused with Leopards Football Club from South Africa. Soon after the Kenyan independence in 1964, the clubs originally founded as Abaluya United Football Club or as Abaluya United. A merger of three clubs, Marama, Samia United and Bunyore. In 1937 they changed the name in Abaluya Football Club and in 1980s they changed the name All Footballers Confederation's Leopard Sport Club or AFC Leopards. So not Association Football Club as many think. Why Leopards have actually no idea, because it's a rational reason maybe, because leopards found all over the place in Kenya. Clubs' nicknames are the Ingwe, translated from Luya to the leopards obviously. The clubs mainly represent the Luya ethnic group in Kenya. Ah yeah, one thing, forget my pronunciation, my Swahili or African language is not that good as you imagine. The current emblem introduced in 2008 is a cobalt blue shield with the head of a leopard with spots on it. A light blue football in its mouth. Above the shield you see a light blue stripes with the motto Ours Forever, and on the bottom of the logo the year of foundation 1964. The home kit of the Leopards are the blue-white horizontal stripes, tops, white shorts and blue socks. Their away shirt is red and black with horizontal or vertical stripes, black shorts and red socks. Nice shirts indeed, very nice. Now we're talking. The Leopards are one of the top flight clubs, has been relegated one time in 2006 and became champion in the Kenyan Second League in 2008 and promoted to the Kenyan Premier League. The club's honors are mainly gained in the past. So far they have won the top league 12 times and the Kenyan Cup, also known as the President's Cup, 10 times. Internationally, they won the local Central East African Cup 5 times, reached one time the semi-final of the Africa Champions League and the semi-final of the League of African Cup winners. Famous players are Miku Welche, Matthew Otomax and William Inganga. What about their rivals Gor Mahia? The formation of Gor Mahia has some mythical proportions. Gor Mahia is a merger of two former clubs in 1968, Luo Union and Luo Sports Club. The club named for Mahia because of Kanyamwa, Nediwa, home base in Luo mythology, whose nickname was Gor Mahia. Mahia stands for magic in Luo language because he was performing magic, and now known as Gor Mahia Football Club. However, this club officially erected in 1968. There's information found the club has been even older since 1915. Several clubs in the Western Kenyan League were using this name in the past. Club's nickname, forgive my pronunciation, are the Kogalo, also stems from the medicine man, whose full nickname was Gor Wat Ogada Nyakwa Ogalo. Gor, son of Ogada, grandson of Ogalo, and as such was known as Gor Makogalo or Kogalo in short. The other nicknames most of the fans call themselves the Green Army. That is way easier. This is the first time this club got an actual mythology around it from an indigenous tribal group. I like that. The club represents the Luo tribe and ethnic group, mostly living in the west of Kenya. What about the crest and logo? The crest of the club is green, blue and white. On the bottom of the logo you read the name club Gor Mahia Football Club. Above you see the green letters G and M, and above those letters you see the year of foundation 1968, and you find a graphic green-blue Kenyan shield from the flag. In the shield you see two footballs. What about the kits? The home kit is green with white, mostly fully green with some white accents. The away shirt is blue with white. What is very weird to play in your arch rival colors in your away shirt. The Green Army's success is magical and are no doubt indisputable in honors. 80 times they won the Kenyan Premier League. They have won the National Presidential Cup 10 times, the Kenyan Super Cup 5 times. Gor Mahia is a regular participant in the African Champions League and the African Cup. However, the highest performance was reaching the quarterfinals. They reached the final of the CAF Winners' Cup in 1979, but never won it. So, famous players of Gor Mahia are Sammy Onyango, Austin Oduor, Alan, Tigo and Chico Otieno. So let's go to this rivalry and derby. It is a bit simple to call this the Nairobi Football Derby because there are dozens of other football clubs in Nairobi or the Nairobi area. However, the clash between the two biggest clubs, also known as the Ingo Dala Derby, I couldn't find any reference why this has been called this way. Is it a nickname of the counties, of the people of Nairobi? I have no idea. Or nicknames of the clubs or a specific ethnic group. So post them below if you know it. The other nickname of the derby, Mashemeji Derby, means in Swahili the in-laws. However, both fans are from the ethnic groups. They are basically also family of each other, so-called brothers or sisters. Love is never been found on Derby Day, by the way. It is like having brothers. You know you hate each other, but it is still a family. This is not only being the best and having the bragging rights in the inner city counties, it is also represent the largest ethnic groups in Kenya. On Leopard side you have the Luo, what is 40% of the entire population of Kenya. Roughly nearly 7 million people and located in the western part of Kenya, while the Gor Mahia represent the Luo, what is 30% of the population of Kenya, what is around 5 million people, and is also mainly located in the west of Kenya. And because both ethnic groups are almost mixed in the western part of Kenya, it is logic to understand they call themselves the Mashemeji. So let's go to the greatest stories of this derby. Many more notable matches were played, from narrow escapes, walls between players, riots in the stands, suspended matches, witchcraft and even bribery. Here are some notable matches. Arch rivals from day one, but it really kicked off in the 70s, where both teams nearly equal. When both teams met in the National Cup, while a fight broke out after a quickly given free kick and a goal. From a small brawl between two players and teams soon turned into an angry mob and fights and riots in the stands between the Ingwe and the Kogalo fans. Memorable matches were in the 1980s, the games and finals between the two teams in the Kikafa League and the International Tournament for Central and East African Football Associations. At that time, the most important tournament to compete in. Gor Mahia was able to win the cup in 1981 after beating the Leopards, while the Leopards won against Gor Mahia in 1982. Did I already mention witchcraft? Well, in this part of East Africa, they take witchcraft very seriously. Check the Dar es Salaam Football Derby episode. In 1982, as well in 1984, there were serious witchcraft accusations. In 1982, the goalkeeper Mahmoud Abbas was performing really well and stopped several penalties, and Leopard won the game, but he was accused of witchcraft because players of Leopard went to prior to the game to a witch doctor, Kaijue, and Leopards won the tournament. In 1984, the Leopards won the Sisafa Cup for the third time, but Gor Mahia fans accused the Leopard of witchcraft during the construction in that same year of the new constructed Nehaya Stadium, which was bewitched. Leopard fans were burying chickens underneath the football pitch. Oh, and what happened in 1987? Hey, was that year? This is white substance. In Kenyan football, each football had witch doctors in a staff. So it is very common to have those. Gor Mahia's staff was protesting while finding the substance, but gets arrested after protesting. Pity for such chicken. But when witchcraft won't work, bribery will do the trick. In 1986, Gor Mahia was 2-0 ahead around half-time, but most Kogalo fans won't forget this match, because AFC won the game by 3-2 after full-time. Later emerged Leopard chairman Alfred Sambu bribed some Kogalo fans to throw the game. Players like John Okello and Tyrus Omendi were suspended. Both fans involved with hooliganism. A lot of games were prematurely stopped or even suspended because of riots on the stands or pitch invasions. Like in 2015, when Leopard fans throwing stones on the pitch because of a given penalty. Because of that tight security, how end those walk in the stadium anyway? As soon as the police have to call in to disperse the crowd by using force and tear gas, the referee has to call off the game. Okay, let's go to statistics. We do that in the... The first time the two teams met was in 1968. AFC Leopards, or in 1968 called Abaluya FC, was victorious in the years before by winning the national title. As soon as Gor Mahia was founded in 1968, they won the national title on the first attempt. The game ended in 1-1. In total, so far, 88 matches have been played. That includes the National Championships, Cup and international games. AFC Leopards had the most wins by winning the clash 28 times. 31 times Gor Mahia won. 25 games ended up in a wall. In 1975, Gor Mahia's biggest win on the Leopards was winning by 5-1. Leopards' biggest win was in 2011 by winning 3-0 from the Green Army. So final whistle, an interesting derby. Unfortunately, it's not that important in East Africa like the Kariakoo derby does. What's a bummer, because this is just as interesting. But the latest decade, the game became more important in Kenya, but also in Africa itself. A game that got everything from great football play, but also having the strangest football stories. And the stories alone should be enough to have a compelling narrative. And yes, this definitely should be on the top place in the future, when both teams were performing like in the 80s. This was the episode on the Nairobi football derby or rivalry. What do you think of this derby or rivalry? And let me know which underrated African football derby I should talk about in the next episodes. So post them below in comments. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe. I see you at the next rivalry. Bye bye.